Donald Trump had a very interesting statement today. He had a conversation with Benjamin Netanyahu, and during his flight, he was asked about Gaza. And all of a sudden, he's saying, we've got to be good to Gaza, Donald Trump. And I wanted to share the video with you, and then we will talk about it in a bit more detail.
Some concerns about access to food, medicine coming into Gaza. When you spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu the other day, did that come up at all about access and humanitarian aid moving into Israel?
No, Gaza came up, and I said, we've got to be good to Gaza. Those people are suffering. We've got to be good to Gaza. We're going to take care of them. There's a very big need for medicine, food and medicine, and we're taking care of it.
In terms of like opening up more access points,
Pushing people very hard.
Pushing the Israelis
We are
to open up more access.
very hard to get food and medicine into Gaza.
How did the Prime Minister respond to that?
Well,
so in that statement, of course, because if it wasn't clear for some of you, because it was in a flight, of course, he said we've got to be good for Gaza. There's a very big need for food, and we're taking care of it. We're taking care of it, and we need to support Gaza, and these people are suffering, and we're going to take care of them. Now, he was asked about how Netanyahu responded to his statement, and he said Netanyahu felt well about it. The American president, with all of the hell statements that happened before, by the way, is all of a sudden telling reporters that we've got to be good to Gaza. What is that shift? What is happening? Okay, well, I'll tell you what's happening. So I've spoken a lot before about the fact that some of the statements that are being made by some of these leaders, including Trump, are there for a show. Part of a psychological warfare and an attempt to impose realities on the ground, in hope that the other side will submit and surrender, scaring people, trying to petrify them, and all hell will break loose, and as if they're going to nuke Gaza or whatever. But that's far from reality. And even with that, we're talking about, well, we're dealing with reports that are coming and trying to read through them, right? And usually what comes out is just the tip of the iceberg. That's very, very far from what happens behind the scenes. What happens behind the scenes is far more complicated, far bigger, far more complex, and in many cases will shock observers even in this world of politics. And many things can change. However, Donald Trump and the United States cannot give Israel an indefinite time to carry out this genocide in Gaza. It's impossible. Israel has very many reasons to stop and things restricting it from continuing. So does the United States. They, of course, try it and portray it as they can somehow continue forever. As a matter of fact, Benjamin Netanyahu, by continuing this more, stretching this war for more than a month or two, has gone against what Israel has done in its whole history, which is diving into a war of attrition, getting itself into a war of attrition. The whole philosophy of Israel was sharp, quick strikes behind enemy lines. Get the job done and get back. Don't put your internal state at any harm, any danger. Economy is fine. People are risk-free. We're not being attacked. Internal, nothing. This time, Benjamin Netanyahu went against all of that and insisted and was stubborn to a level to drag Israel into a war that it cannot handle. By its size, by the logistics, the people, the level of people willing to fight, all of that combined. So Benjamin Netanyahu's stubbornness and his self-engulfed interest and his psychopathic, narcissistic approach led to that situation. The United States, although it wants chaos, but a controlled chaos, not a chaos that is out of hand or chaos being led by a psychopathic individual like Netanyahu, who can do things that are not entirely aligned with the interest of the United States. And I'm saying the United States with the Israeli lobby pressure even. But Trump, clearly, he had internal problems. He had a line looking to negotiate with Hamas and looking to reach a deal, looking to de-escalate. Then pressure from the Zionist lobby was expelling these people, canceling certain appointments. Trump, before he was elected, he was talking about peace and and everything is gonna be fine when I go in. He started to shift again, following pressure, heavy support from the Zionist lobby too, but clearly not all of them are aligned. The United States can't give Israel indefinite time to continue, and Israel's internal problems prevent it from continuing now with all of these attacks that they're confirming, even ambushes by the Palestinian resistance. Take that and tie it with the developments on the ground, because we need to contextualize to try and understand. It's very difficult without that. You'll be lost. He's saying that now Israel changed the head of the delegation to a person who accepted a ceasefire very long back rather than Dermer. The Hamas delegation are in Cairo, usually a location or a station that comes before an agreement, because it's linked with Gaza. There would be approvals being taken by the core Hamas leadership inside of the Gaza Strip, and of course the military wing of Hamas and the resistance as a whole, the armed resistance in Gaza. Because these people, it's like these people negotiating outside, the people of Gaza will be making the decisions. This is very important for people to understand. From Gaza, they will be sending messages and they will decide, not just the people abroad. That's not to say that there are some sort of tensions or conflicts in the decision making, no. But those in Gaza, like they should, they need to have the say. The leadership of the resistance and the people who have been sacrificing all along. And they're not detached from the society. They are the society. The society extends to them. It's their families. It's their surroundings. It's their neighborhoods. It's their homes that are being targeted. And they're fighting the same entity that is conducting all of that. Tying all of this with the developments, with the facts that we're talking about a long ceasefire. Hamas saying no longer, no phases anymore. That's it. We're looking for only an all-out deal. This shows you that something is happening. No, not to be, of course, pessimistic or optimistic. Something is happening. And Donald Trump, we've known him to do 180s, many U-turns, typical again. But the timing of his statement is very important. 2 weeks ago, he was also changing his tone, saying that we're going to need to end this, right? Similar statements came from Witkoff too, but of course they wouldn't want to make it public so that the other side thinks that they're going to come to an agreement anyway. They want the Palestinian people, they want the leaders of the resistance, and they want the whole world to believe that we're going to do this forever up until you surrender, which isn't going to happen. It clearly isn't going to happen. The Palestinian resistance is not going to submit, and this will be ending. The question is when. Judging by the signs and by the developments that are happening now, and by the statement from Donald Trump, there are indications that it might happen at some point soon.